Welcome to the first deadline stream of UCL Fantasy this season, and today's been a hectic day, so apologies for the slightly late start, but here we are. And of course, I'm not even able to do it at the usual time, just an hour or so before the deadline. And of course, that is when I would recommend to lock in your teams fully, around 7 p.m, when you should know all the lineups, and then you can make informed decisions. Of course, you don't want to have players who aren't even playing on the first day. You can always kind of mitigate that and change things around. So thank you everyone who has been waiting. And yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of people interested in UCL Fantasy at this stage. And if you are here, so remember to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. And this is how my team is looking like at the moment. Only one change from my team selection video. I've brought in Alberto Moreno in for Woba, a 4 million defender. So pretty happy with him. And I think he could actually be a nice little pick. But other than that, everything else is the exact same. Although I'm going to show you some kind of alternatives to two players I have. And I've actually put some polls up on my channel asking you lot for your opinions as well. And I assume a lot of you will have kind of similar problems. And 44 people watching already. I can tell Champions League, everyone's kind of getting excited. There might be even more players this season. I'm not exactly sure how many there were last season in terms of overall players, but we should be surpassing that for sure. And a lot of people who played Euro 2020 Fantasy Football will probably like that format and play UCL Fantasy. It's very similar, of course, with ball recoveries being the main difference. So let's try and get through all these questions. It's going to be difficult. Let's see. Thank you, Joker Smile, for waiting. Appreciate some of India. Rock and Roll says champions. Yeah. Hey there, everyone. I'm making a fan predictor league for Dylan RCM. Champions Europa and Europa League conference codes are here if you want to join. Good luck and have fun. Yeah, I saw that there's Conference League and Europa League predictors, but I'm just not interested myself personally. And especially with the Conference League, like apart from Spurs, Roma, and a few other teams, I just don't know the rest. Gundogan plus Jorginho or Ferran plus Herrera? I prefer Gundogan and Jorginho, I think. And let me actually just get the live chat up here. Okay, that sure will be good. Is Aspie starting? Well, of course, let's wait until 7 p.m. for the lineups to be announced, but I think he will. And assuming that he does, and he's the most nailed Chelsea defender, he is in my team. Sorry, man, I changed some transfers in my team. I took out Mendy, Nesha, Morley, and Mbappe for Musso, Kobel, Tagliafico, and Lukaku. Look like good moves, to be honest. And yeah, Kobel, he could actually be really good at 4.5 million. Yeah, thank you, Rock and Roll, for waiting. So Messi and Ronaldo both in my team get in. Yeah, I mean, when you have a chance to have two of the greatest of all time in your home team, how can you complain? What about Kanate? I just don't know if he's even going to start, and I think other Liverpool players will probably offer better value. So yeah, I'm just not going to go there right now. And also, Liverpool's group is fairly tough. The only kind of player I'd really back there is Salah. Is Ronaldo expected to start? I think so, Addy, but of course, let's wait until, well, in his case, actually, yeah, at 7 p.m, because he plays today, so let's wait and see for the lineups. Musso, Kobel, Aspie, Davis, Shaw, Acuna, Hermoso, Royce, Sane, Torres, Mount, Alvarez, Haaland, Messi, Traore. Looks balanced in my opinion. So do I. I'm not a big fan of Mount in general, but because of ball recoveries, he could be even more appealing in this than he is in FPL. And of course, in Sky, Mount is actually really good. The rest of your team looks good though. I'm definitely, there's no big problems there. I'm not a big fan of Davis because I think there could be better options elsewhere, even in his own team like Kimmich. But Davis is a good option still. Welcome Asif. Welcome Uros. Will Rodri play? Good question. I mean, this is one that's a bit more difficult. City play tomorrow, so I'm not going to obviously just tell you, let's wait until the lineup to see. I think Rodri will start, but sometimes Pep just opts for a different system and he just doesn't want to play with Rodri as the pivot. He could go with Fernandinho or he could just go with Gundogan there instead. But yeah, I think Rodri will play the majority of the games. Ronaldo's expected to start. Yeah, I'm worried about him, to be honest. If I didn't start him, or if I didn't start Matchday 1 with him, I'd be very worried. And of course, let me actually show you quickly what I mean in terms of my other kind of alternative picks. So instead of Jorginho and Ronaldo, I could get Musiala, who's looking really promising. He doesn't start every game, but he is actually very efficient with the minutes he has. He can get goals and assists. And I can get Lukaku, who, to be honest, he does face Juventus in Game Week 2, but he's still one of the best options, I think, in the group stages. And I didn't talk about him enough. That's a mistake I made in my videos, but you know what? Lukaku is one of the best options. And Chelsea, I'm not really fond of their attackers, but Lukaku is the only one, really. Hi, Dylan. Thanks for your thoughts. Thank you, Cherie. And obviously, if you have any questions or comments, let me know. You mean 5 p.m, not 7 p.m? Maybe, actually. Maybe I do. That's actually a good point, is it? Yeah, it's 5 p.m. Yeah, my bad. What am I saying? I'm an idiot, am I? Actually, that's really good. Wait. Gee, okay, I just had a eureka moment, but I'm not even going to say it. Let's just go through the questions and pretend I never even said it. Yes, 5:45. Jesus, okay, no, it's a good. No wonder so many people wanted it to be at 4 o'clock. Okay, fair enough. But I'm not going to be streaming. I think all the way until the 5:45 deadline. To be honest, yeah, because unfortunately I have other commitments as well. But of course I'm here. If you have any questions, let me know. Buy Guidieres from Real Madrid, just a 4 million starter. Yeah, but I look at it this way. I'm not sure if he's going to be a long-term starter. But when I look at Alberto Moreno, for example, and Woba, I think they will. So yeah, let me try to get this blue bar out of the way. Yeah, that's fine anyway. So yeah, but it's a good suggestion you make. Why not Acuna instead of Diego Carlos? I talked about this in my team selection video. Acuna gets even more yellow cards, and in terms of ball recoveries, I expect Diego Carlos to get more of them. Remember, that is a very important asset in UCL Fantasy. Of course, Acuna is a really good player. He can play left mid and left wing too, but he's predominantly going to play as a left back, and I'm not sure if his attacking potential is enough to go with him over Diego Carlos. I mean, they're both great options, and Acuna can do well. I just prefer Carlos, I think, because of the ball recoveries. Guru says, my team: Mendy, Azpilicueta, De Ligt, Hakimi, Koundé, Lamela, Mount, Musiala, Lewandowski, Haaland, Messi, Lunin, Mori, Kondogbia, Camavinga. It's a good team. I would be a bit hesitant about De Ligt and just any Juventus players really, especially at the back, so I'd probably move him on. The rest looks fine. Lamela isn't really a starter. He comes off the bench a lot. In Champions League he might start, but just bear that in mind really. It's a good team though. Dalot is more likely to start than Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, this is the thing, the good thing about this, and obviously thank you to people who pointed it out, the United lineup is out very early, so in pretty much half an hour or so we should know it. And of course, if he is not playing, then I will be making a change and I'll let you guys know. But yeah, it's always good to have a backup plan. And yeah, let's see. Lukaku or Haaland? I think Haaland, just in general. Better fixtures, and yeah, I just go with Haaland. Hello, do you remember me? Yeah, I remember Jimmy. I mean, we literally, I streamed yesterday. I remember you talked there. You pretend to be Nigerian, I think, for some reason. Welcome back. Bellingham or Jorginho? I prefer Jorginho personally, assuming he starts most games, but then again, I think there could be some rotation for Chelsea. What about PSG defenders? Hakimi or Marquinhos or both? I wouldn't have two PSG defenders because they have City in their group and they only just kept their first clean sheet of the season at the weekend. So I definitely wouldn't be going double up in PSG defence. Obviously, Mendes is tempting, or even Diallo, but I wouldn't be going for Hakimi and Marquinhos. That's just way too expensive. Having one of them is fine, but I'm not sure. Think Reece James playing? I think so, especially considering the fact that he didn't play because of the suspension against Liverpool. Then again, though, he could be rested for the Premier League, so obviously it's a double-edged sword, but I think he will start. Why did you choose Salah instead of Bruno? Well, this is the thing. It's not completely set in stone. I even put a poll out because I'm literally debating it myself. I know, look, Salah, in my opinion, is a better fantasy asset than Bruno. No doubt about it. The problem is that Bruno has better fixtures. The reason why I've gone with Salah at this moment in time, despite the tough group, is because Bruno, he's still a good asset, but he's not as good as he once was because of Ronaldo coming in. Best 5.5 million midfielder? I would say Kante most of the time, but of course he's pretty much injured. So I just look at Alvarez around 4.5 million. Around 5.5 specifically, there's Fabinho maybe or Rodri, but yeah, I'm not really too kind of enticed by those options. There's also Dahoud from Dortmund. Only Salah. Trent, well, once again, it's a tough group for Liverpool and you can't have everyone. I like Trent a lot as an asset, but I have to make money elsewhere. I have to downgrade one of my attackers or midfielders to facilitate that move, and obviously that's kind of some proposed changes to my team. This is what my team is looking like at the moment, but I might actually get rid of Wan-Bissaka, maybe a few others, maybe Salah away to Bruno. Could you show prices for your team by any chance? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, the prices are on screen. Let's see. Lamela and Jota or Rodri and Depay? Good question. I probably would prefer Lamela and Jota, but then again, Lamela is not really a starter. What are your thoughts on Marcos Llorente? I talked about him, I think, in my last video the other day, and I think he's a good option. He doesn't really translate his goals and assists from the league to the Champions League, but maybe he can this season. I think he can get some ball recovery points, not as much as a Casemiro or even a Kante, but I think he can get plenty of points. He's just a cheap option. He's decent. He's nothing special, but then again, he's got, I think, different avenues to points, which is good. The biggest dilemma is whether you have Mbappe or Ronaldo as or Lukaku as the third forward. What's your opinion? I was facing something similar, to be honest, but in the end, I think for Matchday 1 specifically, I would rather have Mbappe. But you know what? It's something I've considered because looking at it objectively, I think if you look at the first 2 match days as a whole, I would rather have Lukaku because he's got Zenit and Juventus. I think as a duo, that is easier than Club Brugge and Man City. That's just a personal opinion. So maybe Lukaku is the one to go for, but I can see PSG scoring 3 or 4. Chelsea might even just score 1 or 2 and win the game with a clean sheet. But of course, Lukaku is so tempting. You can't have everyone. It's a really tough one to call. Hello Dylan mate, what have I missed? Not much, to be honest, just one change from my team selection video. I've brought in Alberto Moreno, a 4 million defender, in for Woba, but nothing else really. Can you rate my team? Musso, Kobel, Trent, Mela, Trippier, Aaron Bissaka, Aspi, Alvarez, Foden, Salah, Camavinga, Jorginho, Lukaku, Haaland, Depay. It's a good team. I'm a bit concerned about Depay match day 1, but he's probably the best option, around 8.5 million up front. Foden, I don't know if he's going to start as much as he did last season in Champions League. That's something to keep an eye on. Aaron Bissaka, I mean, some people think Dalot might start ahead of him, but of course, just keep an eye on the lineups in half an hour's time. And then the rest, I probably wouldn't go for Trippier because he's got a tough group, including Liverpool. And Mela, obviously very good in the Euros, and he could do really well. He's got ball recoveries as well to fall back on. He could be a decent pick, actually. So overall, I like your team a lot, but I probably would steer clear from those sort of names I mentioned. Hi, it's great to be able to play this game when FPL's on the weekends, lol. I love it. Yeah, maybe Matthew, but of course it's in a way maybe more stress, more things to think about, of course. But yeah, Champions League should be good, hopefully. Saved you there. Yeah, thank you, Patel. Oblak, goalkeeper or Musso? I'd go for Musso. I think Oblak is way too expensive for a goalkeeper. I wouldn't go for him. Dalot is more likely to start than Wan-Bissaka, fair enough. Ronaldo or Lewandowski? Lower stats are too insane to go unnoticed. I think for match day 1, I still think Lewandowski can do well against Barcelona, but I'd probably go for Ronaldo for match day 1. Going forward, then yeah, maybe something else. Got Reece James as my captain tonight. Yeah, if I didn't have Ronaldo or Lukaku, one of them will be in my team, I think, for sure. Then yeah, I'd probably go for a Chelsea defender like Azpilicueta or, in your case, Reece James. I think Reece James will start. I think so. Wan-Bissaka or Trippier? I prefer Wan-Bissaka, honestly. Is Aspi starting once again? You know, I'd probably say yes, he will start. Of course, we don't know the lineups for Chelsea, unfortunately, but yeah, I think he will start. Is this the final team? 1 second. Yeah, no, well, this is the thing. There could be a few changes, 1 or 2, I think, but the rest should be fairly nailed. Messi or Neymar? I prefer Messi, but then again, I think Mbappe might be the best of the 3 in terms of goals. Hello, says Tekers. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. Oh, okay, right. Here we go. Yeah, Jeremiah, don't worry, I've already banned him. Thank you for that. I didn't actually see the comments. I've been trying to catch up. What are your thoughts on Maela? No thoughts, really, to be honest. Ferran Torres instead of Casemiro? If you can afford it, then yes. But remember, with Casemiro, he can always get 4 to 5 points pretty much every single match day. With Ferran Torres, you need him to score for him to haul, to be honest. Lindelof and Van der Beek starting, apparently. Yeah, I mean, it's about time. They probably deserve some minutes. Lindelof was playing well before he got displaced. And yeah, Van der Beek, he's been very unfortunate. Is Musso a good pick? I think so. I mean, that's why I've gone for him myself. Atalanta aren't the greatest defensively, but I think they have a decent group other than Man United, and he can get some save points. He's a good keeper, so I would recommend him. But of course, if you're asking me for the best 4.5 million option, there is the Benfica one too, but I'd probably go for Kobel from Dortmund if you had to pick one. My team is good as fuck. Hopefully it is, Elliot. Hopefully. Why do you go for Wan-Bissaka instead of Luke Shaw? Don't know if you answered that question already. I didn't. The reason why is because Luke Shaw is 6 million, and in order to get Luke Shaw, who I would prefer, but I just have to downgrade someone else, and I'm not really prepared to do that. I'm happy with the team I have at the moment. Who would you choose, Kovacic or Jorginho? Good question. I probably would pick Jorginho. Of course, Kovacic has done really well, especially in Game Week 4, but I probably prefer Jorginho. Forward line of Haaland, Messi and Depay, is it good? I think so, it's really good. And once again, Depay, not too keen on him in matchday 1, but I think he's a good asset overall. And there's a good, actually, good stat for Barca. They've never lost the opening game in the Champions League, so let's wait and see. What is your chip strategy? Well, Probably I'm going to play the limitless chip in the group stages. That's what I tend to do. But the wild card, which I also tend to play in the group stages, I might actually save for the knockouts. But yeah, the limitless, I might even use it in match day 2, maybe 5 or 6. But yeah, other than that, I might save the wild card. Are you sure Musso will get a clean sheet? Not necessarily. That's why I've got 2 4.5 million goalkeepers. If Musso blanks, I can bring on the Dortmund goalkeeper on the second day. Carvajal, Trippier, or any 5 million defender. I mean, my preferred choice is Azpilicueta, but I'm assuming you already have him. So other than that, I like Wan-Bissaka, but maybe he won't start. So let's keep an eye on the lineup. Hey, I just subbed. Thank you very much. Poochie Head, what a name, by the way. Appreciate it. And nearly 200 people watching. Now it's over 200. Jesus. Thank you very much. Why Rudiger over James? Well, I mean, if you look at last season, Rudiger was the highest scoring defender in UCL Fantasy, and that's because of ball recovery points. He's also more nailed than Reece James, so that's why I'm going for him. For every 3 ball recovery points a player makes, they get an extra point. Why not the Sevilla keeper? He's 5 million, and I just rather would have 2 4.5 million goalkeepers who rotate well. And I've got Diego Carlos. If not, there's Marcos Acuna who could fill in the defence. What about Lassina Traore? I got burned by him last season. I remember he was a cheap striker. I'm probably not going to be looking at him. Is Benzema a good pick? He is. And he's another one, just like Lukaku, I didn't mention. He's done so well in La Liga this season. He's been really clutch for Real Madrid, so he's a good option. Any thoughts about Herrera from PSG? Only 5.5 million and got great stats in French Ligue 1. Yeah, he actually scored, I think, the other day. He might have scored twice, but yeah, I'm just not really looking at him. With PSG, I'm looking at Mbappe, maybe one of their defenders. Of course, Messi, Neymar, the typical really, but yeah, not him for me. Villarreal versus Atalanta's a game. I see goals on both teams, but which team to win? Yeah, I mean, I think I went with a 2-1 win for Villarreal. I'm not sure. I've got the predictor. I've put some predictions up, but that's a tough game to call. That's what I mean. But I've got Musa, like I said, just in case he keeps a clean sheet, gets a lot of save points. And if not, I've got another goalkeeper. Where is Lukaku? Well, once again, you can't have everyone. There's Lewandowski that I don't have. I don't have Messi. I don't have Neymar. There's so many players I'm missing. Don't you think you should downgrade Salah and upgrade your midfield options? Not necessarily, in my opinion, because Jorginho, Gundogan, Casemiro, and even Alvarez can get a lot of points from ball recoveries, and then, of course, Gundogan can get some attacking returns. I like the midfield. Of course, it's not the greatest, but you can't have a great midfield and a great attack and defence. If Joaquin Correa was nailed at Inter because he tends to come off the bench, then I'd be tempted to actually downgrade one of my attackers and then use that money to invest in my midfield. But I see what you mean. 5 at the back, what is your strategy? Well, the only reason I've got 5 at the back is because all of my defenders play on the 14th of September. Really what you want to have on your bench is players who are playing on the final day, so tomorrow, and then you can bring them on during the substitution window. And I've got plenty of videos if you're unsure about anything. What do you think about Vinicius? He's decent, but from Real Madrid, I'd probably prefer Benzema, to be honest. Are you going to change Wan-Bissaka? Potentially, but we don't know the lineup yet. So, of course, there's rumours that it's probably going to come true. But yeah, I mean, I'll show on screen, some potential alternatives to Wan-Bissaka because I had him since my team selection video, I believe. So let's go to affordable. So with 5 million, what can we get? I'm not really too convinced by De Ligt. Of course, he can get a clean sheet at match day 1, but there might be better options elsewhere. I mean, Mats Hummels, he hasn't been starting recently for Dortmund. I don't know what that's about, but I've got the goalkeeper anyway. Royce is actually a good option in midfield as well, and I might even go to him at some point. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not really a big fan of the players. Obviously, Mailer's a good one from Euro 2020 Fantasy, but I'm not expecting him to be as explosive as he was in that tournament. I know a lot of people have Mazzauri, same with last season. He's a bit of a popular pick, but I probably won't be going for him, I think. Yeah, I mean, Matip's a decent one. I think he can get plenty of ball recovery points, but just like with FPL, he's just so injury prone and he can break down at any moment, and that's obviously a big concern going into the future. So let me know what you think in terms of the best kind of 5 million defenders to potentially replace Wan-Bissaka. That's something I could do, and of course Musiala could come in and Lukaku instead of Ronaldo and Jorginho. But you see, you can't have the perfect team. It's just impossible to have everyone you want. But of course, so many options makes the game more interesting, and the template isn't as strong, I think, as it is in FPL. Mbappe or Lukaku? I think in match day 1 I'd prefer Mbappe, but over maybe the course of the group stages, arguably Lukaku. When do you plan to use Limitless? Yeah, probably match day 2, 5 or 7. Why do you not have Reece James? Once again, in UCL Fantasy you get points for ball recoveries, Rudiger and Azpilicueta get more than Reece James, and they're also more nailed. That's why. Obviously, just because I don't have him doesn't mean he's not a good option. You can still go for Reece James, and he's got plenty of attacking threat. Baku is a good option, yeah, from Wolfsburg. But I don't know. The thing is with Wolfsburg, I've actually been quite impressed with them. But I don't know if I'm going to go for him over Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, if Wan-Bissaka doesn't play, it makes sense. I could go for him, but yeah, not too sure if I'll spend 5 million on him. Will Torres play? This is the thing, I'm not really too sure because he either plays in Champions League, then misses out on the weekend, or vice versa. I think he will play, but I couldn't tell you for sure. It could be De Bruyne or Foden playing as a false 9 potentially. Best defences to target? I'd definitely say Chelsea for me. Evening, Dylan. Good luck with the stream. Catch you on the FPL content. Thank you, Lipuk. Thank you. Sure about Reece James going to start? I think he will. Laporte and Stones are injured. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing with Laporte as well. Like, they could constantly be rotating. I think Laporte will play most of the games in the Premier League, and Stones could now become the Champions League defender. Last season, it was the other way around. Any thoughts on Rafa Silva of Benfica? I think he's a good option. Yeah, but once again, because of the group and because I'm just not really a big fan of Benfica, I'm probably not going to go for him, but still, he could be a good option. Yeah, Mazzari a good option. I think so as well. I might even go for him in the end. Would you prefer Hummels instead of Wan-Bissaka? Yeah, like I said though, I've been checking the lineups recently, and if I'm not mistaken, I haven't seen him feature. I'm not sure why. Maybe he's being rested for the Champions League. But Hummels and Akanji are both really good for ball recoveries. The only problem is that I already have Kobel in goal for Borussia Dortmund. I don't want to double up on Dortmund defence, despite how good their group is. Alonso or Chilwell? This is the thing. I think Chilwell might start, but I don't know like when that's going to be the case. Chelsea are just, and Tuchel, so difficult to predict with the lineups. But if Alonso continues to start in the Premier League, then Chilwell could be the Champions League defender. Wan-Bissaka to Akanji, that could be a shout, but once again, I'd probably want to change my goalkeeper as well. Dylan, what do you think about Pogba? Look, he's been doing really well this season, and I think he's been vastly overperforming in terms of assists. In UCL Fantasy, yeah, he's got ball recoveries, but he doesn't make too many, so I'm not too sure about him, to be honest. He could be a good option. He's got a great group, but I don't know. I think I wouldn't go for him myself, but he's a good option. Messi will start or not? Yeah, he will. It'll be Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. That's what the rumours are saying. Alonso or Aspi? I would rather have Azpilicueta because he's cheaper. He's also just nailed in general, and he gets more ball recoveries. Your keeper Musso, I don't think he'll start. Sportiello will start. Yeah, in the last game, the reason why Sportiello started is because Musso came back late because of the qualifiers for Argentina. Otherwise, Musso would continue to start. He's been the number 1 this season. But yeah, maybe he will, to be honest. Is Walker good? Yep, he is. I mentioned him before. Walker, Diaz, Cancelo. Take your pick from City defence. Other than that, I wouldn't go for another City defender right now. Angel Correa or Llorente? Look, I normally would say Correa, but because Atletico have made new signings like Griezmann, that could limit Correa's minutes, so I might actually say Llorente there. Who is the best 5 million defender on Wednesday? On the Wednesday, that's a tough question. I'd have to check the fixtures again. Yeah, maybe Akanji or Hummels. You know, they stand out immediately. You could even go for a Shakhtar defender, Matip against Milan, but yeah, other than that, not really too sure about the rest. Yeah, I mean, slightly cheaper than 5 million. Nuno Mendes or Diallo, whoever starts for PSG for Matchday 1 could be really good. I think Mazzari as well against Sporting, but that's a difficult game. I think it's not easy for Ajax. So let's see. Why not Ronaldo? I've got him in. It's just I'm showing some different alternatives. So Ronaldo is in my team right now, and I've also got Jorginho, but I might get rid of Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, it's pending the lineups that we get very soon. Dylan, thanks so much for the content. Appreciate your patience and passion there. Keep it up, mate. Thank you, Chu. Really appreciate it. And obviously, hope to see you in more live streams and videos. Thoughts on Pedri? He's really cheap, 6.5 million, but I don't know. He's not going to get too many goals or assists unless, obviously, he makes that big step up in goal output this season. And he doesn't get too many ball recoveries. I would probably prefer Musiala around the same price. Lamela or Llorente? Probably Llorente because Lamela tends to be benched. No Ronnie. Yeah, he's on my team. Hits likely to start? I'm not sure, to be honest. Obviously, Hits started a lot in the Champions League last season, but in the league this season, Kobel has been playing all the games, so I'm not sure. Obviously, it would majorly backfire if I have Musso and Kobel and none of them start. That would be a big shame. Mbappe or Lukaku? For Matchday 1, Mbappe. Maybe for the whole group stages, Lukaku. What about Ajax defender? I think they're good. I might go for one of them in the end. Thoughts on Kimmich? I don't trust Bayern too much defensively, and in Matchday 1, they might not even keep a clean sheet despite potentially smacking Barcelona, but Kimmich is a really good asset. You know, he can get so many goals and assists, even from distance. He's on set pieces. He can get ball recovery points. He's a really good player. Of course, he's really expensive as well, but I think he is worth it. Is Bellingham a good option? I think so, but there might be better options elsewhere like Musiala, Jorginho, Gundogan, etc. Can you do 3-4-3 in this fantasy? Of course you can. I've just got 5 defenders because, like I said already, all of my defenders are starting today. You don't want to have anyone who starts today on your bench, otherwise you miss out on their points. Is Reece James playing? I think he is. When's the next time you stream? For UCL Fantasy, it will basically be an hour or so before the deadline. That's pretty much it. What do you think about Kimmich? Yeah, I answered that. Will Musiala start? This is the thing, I'm not too sure. Bayern actually have been rotating a bit from their wingers from what I've seen. Sometimes Sane starts, sometimes there's Musiala, and then whoever doesn't comes off the bench and they can make a big impact. I think he might, but against Barcelona, looking at it objectively, I think he'll come off the bench. Is it risky to go for Mendy? Can Kepa start? I think Kepa can start 1 or 2 games in the Champions League, but I'm not sure if it's going to be Matchday 1. So it is slightly risky because Tuchel has rotated their keepers in the past, but Mendy is a fantastic option and still ended up as the highest scoring player in UCL Fantasy last season. James or Alonso? Great question. I'd probably go for James because I'd be a bit more confident about him starting. Marquinhos is the best for his price. I like Marquinhos, and the thing about him is that he doesn't need to get a clean sheet. He can get ball recovery points. He's actually got good attacking potential too, so that's a really good shout. But then again, Matchday 2 against City, that does put me off a bit, and he's got Leipzig in his group. Will Danilo of PSG start? Your thoughts? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think Verratti will start in midfield, and of course it could be Herrera, Paredes as well, who's good with controlling the midfield. I don't really see Danilo Pereira starting most games. Of course, when Pochettino needs someone more physical in the midfield, then he can come in, but I'm just not too sure about that. What about Bellingham? How is he? Good option, but like I said before, I think there are better choices. Will Kante play? Based on what we've heard so far from Tuchel in recent press conferences, I don't think he is going to start. Will you post your final squad on Twitter? Well, to be honest, I'm pretty much going to be streaming here. The deadline is at 5:45. And I'll be streaming for another hour or so. Then unfortunately I have other commitments, but pretty much what you see on screen will be my team. And if I do make any changes, I'll let you guys know if possible before the deadline. And yeah, I'll post my team on the community tab and potentially on Twitter too. How bad is Gnabry's injury? Will Musiala start? Yeah, I mean, Gnabry's injury, I'm not too sure, but I think also I've heard about his contract's running out at the end of next season as well, but I think Gnabry could be out for a few weeks. I'm not sure though, in terms of Musiala starting just because of Gnabry. Bayern have other options as well. Thank you for the super chat, rock and roll, really appreciate it. And yeah, 2 quick questions. Do you think of the risk of captaining an attacker is worth it compared to a defender? And what do you suggest to lower team price? Okay, great questions. Thank you, rock and roll. In terms of the risk of captaining an attacker, I still think they're worth it. You know, you want to be captaining your attackers rather than the midfielders and probably defenders. In FPL, it tends to be the midfielders that stand out. But in UCL Fantasy, the attackers are so explosive. I mean, remember Neymar last season in Matchday 6, Mbappe against Barcelona. You know, there's so many examples. So I think you can captain defenders in this game, though. That's the thing. With ball recoveries as well, let's say someone like Trent gets an assist, gets a clean sheet, and gets a lot of ball recoveries. He's on for a massive score. So I think captaining a defender makes more sense in this game, and I probably wouldn't do it as much in FPL. And as for suggesting to lower team price, I wouldn't really be too concerned about team prices. Of course, it might be a good thing to have a bit of money in your bank. So, for example, if after Matchday 1, Mbappe does well, but you want to get rid of him for someone else because he plays City in Matchday 2, then you can use him to upgrade to someone else like Ronaldo or Lewandowski, for example. But I wouldn't worry too much about team price. And remember, in terms of price rises and falls, they tend to happen after the beginning of Matchday 3, so halfway through the group stages. Thank you very much for your questions. Thoughts on Fabinho, and if not Trent, then who else? Look, Trent is a really good option, but the group is really tough for Liverpool, and I think you could maybe find better value elsewhere. But of course, Trent is always a good fantasy option. And Fabinho, in terms of ball recoveries, he should be a monster, and he's very cheap. He should be starting most of the games, really, so he is a good, viable option. Can you name your best free midfielders between 7 and 9 million? Look, I'm not a big fan of that price bracket, to be honest, but one player that comes to mind, I'd say, is Gundogan, also Ferran Torres, so definitely one of those sorts of players. Let's actually check the rest, because I'll be honest, I've been looking at these players around 9 million and I'm just not really too impressed. So let's look. To answer your question, I like Foden if he starts a lot, and he was really good in UCL Fantasy last season. Yeah, some people say Pogba. I'm not too sure, honestly. That's just my opinion on the matter. Let's see, selected by price. So let's see. Yeah. I like Sane, actually. The thing with him is that he's a bit rotation risk, but I do like Sane. He's someone that I was considering to get into my team. Not too much, I'll admit, but still a good one. I've seen some people get Kalinoglu in their team. But yeah, I'd probably say, one of those sorts of players, a City attacker or midfielder, Foden, even Grealish, Torres or Gundogan, Sane, another ex-City player. And other than that, Marco Reus. Yeah, because of the group, I'd say Marco Reus at 8 million. So hopefully that's a good one there. Let's see. Thank you, Joker Smile. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Are Hakimi and Camavinga good options? Yeah, I think so. But once again, with Hakimi, it's a pretty tough group considering they have Leipzig and City. I'm not too sure about that, to be honest. Obviously, he's a good option. He could have a lot of attacking potential. He tends to do in the Champions League group stages. But yeah, in terms of clean sheets, I'm not too sure. And ball recoveries, Camavinga is a good option. And he scored, obviously, on his Real Madrid debut. Is Gundogan 100% starting? Not necessarily. But I think he's one of the more nailed City players. Moreno or Resulion, I think that is. I prefer Moreno because Resulion hasn't been playing every single game for Wolfsburg, which is a bit of a concern. I think in the last league game he didn't start. He was on the bench. And before that he was getting a few yellow cards. And yeah, I don't know. I'd probably go for Moreno. Wan-Bissaka is playing, says Sebastian. All right, fair enough. I mean, they tend to be announced early, these kind of lineups. So, yeah, I'm going to have a check very soon. Does Musso start? Well, he tends to be the number one goalkeeper, but as actually referenced by someone earlier, he didn't play in the last Serie A game, but that's because he came late from international duty with Argentina. Or is it Golini? Well, it's actually Sportiello. It's either Sportiello or Musso, but Musso is number one choice. But of course, in the end, Musso might not play because, Sportiello didn't do too bad at the weekend. Will Moreno start every game? Well, he's been playing every single game recently, but that doesn't mean he will going forward. But he's 4 million, and I think he's probably the pick of the bunch. He's got a bit of attacking potential. He plays at left mid, which is really impressive for me. Best 6.5 million midfielder? Good question. I probably would say Musiala is one of my favourites, honestly. Why Moreno? Yeah, he's been playing every single game at left mid recently, even in the Super Cup final against Chelsea. So I like him, and I had Woba before, and I just prefer Villarreal defence. Hakimi and Resulion or Azpilicueta and Marquinhos? I'd go for the second duo, Azpilicueta and Marquinhos. Kyle Walker, good option, just like Diaz and Cancelo. Take your pick from City defence. I wouldn't go with the others though. You might have said this, but what made you choose that front three instead of Lukaku, Messi or Lewandowski? No one asked that before. It's a good question. The reason why is because Haaland, in my opinion, has the best group, and I don't want to go without him, so I really want him in my team. He's kind of a non-negotiable. Then I look at Ronaldo and his group, and yeah, again, a really good group for United, and I expect Ronaldo to start. Of course, the lineup should be out any second now, if it hasn't already. Mbappe has also a really good Matchday 1 fixture. The reason why I've gone with him over Messi is because I think he's going to be the main kind of outlet for goals. Messi is going to drop deep and he might not even get that many goals compared to Mbappe. But of course, we're talking about Messi here, who's arguably the best goal scorer of all time as well. So look, there's no right or wrong answer. With Lewandowski, he's got Barcelona Matchday 1. I think he can do really well, but I think Mbappe, Haaland and I'm going to call him Rondon, Ronaldo can do even better. As for Lukaku, yeah, he's someone that I'm not really too happy going without, especially for Matchday 1, but you can't have everyone. If I could have 5 attackers, I would, but unfortunately I can't. Captain better, Mbappe or Haaland? Good question. I mean, I think I said in my video I would rather have Haaland as my captain, but they're both great options. Starting 11 for Sevilla Salzburg is out on Champions League UEFA app. Yeah, I'm going to be reading out the teams very soon. No problem, Sharma. Really appreciate it. Thoughts behind Jorginho pick? Well, he was actually one of the highest scoring players last season in UCL Fantasy. He's potentially on penalties. He gets a lot of ball recovery points. He got 80 last season, 80 ball recoveries, which obviously equates to a lot of points. So I just think he's a really good option in general. That's just my opinion on the matter. He doesn't get too many goals or assists. He gets the occasional yellow card. But so long as he starts, I think he's good. He's a cheap option. Thoughts on Ferran Torres? Not too sure about his minutes, but I really like him when he starts. Don't like Matchday 2, but still. Rudiger or Azpilicueta? I'd say Azpilicueta because he's more nailed and he's cheaper. Is Mori a good option of 4 million? He hasn't been starting recently. Of course, he is a good option if he plays, but I don't know if he's going to start. Gundogan to Torres. If I could make the move, I would consider it heavily, but I think Gundogan's more nailed. Ronaldo and Wan-Bissaka are starting confirmed. Yeah, that's really good. Thank you for that update, James. Really appreciate it. I'm going to be reading the lineups now, actually, and then I'll get back to your questions. I don't know why. I got completely caught by surprise in terms of the... for some reason, I thought it was at 7 o'clock, the deadline, or should I say 8 o'clock. Here we go. So... yeah, okay, here we go. Young Boys versus Man United. So De Gea starts in goal. Lindelof is there. So no Varane, is it? Yeah, no Varane. It's Maguire and Lindelof. For some reason, they don't have it in proper order. But yeah, Luke Shaw is there. Wan-Bissaka. Midfield, Fred. Van de Beek. Bruno Fernandes. Paul Pogba, and then they have Ronaldo and Sancho. Yeah, for some reason they don't have the actual proper lineup here on the app that I'm using, but I think that's the lineup. Hopefully it actually got it right. I've had some bad experiences with LiveScore in the past when reading out their lineups. And let's see the other game. Sevilla, Salzburg. Marcos Acuna starts, same with Koundé and Diego Carlos. Jesus Navas as the right back. Bono starts in goal, of course. Fernando, Rakitic and Jordan start as the midfielders. Alejandro Gomez, Suso and En-Nesyri, who's very good for Sevilla, actually. He scored at the weekend too. And Gomez is such a good player. He's one to look out for. So that's a strong team from Sevilla. And looking at Salzburg, Woba starts. That's the kind of main thing, in my opinion. Not really. Is there anyone else from there that's really an asset? I don't think so. As for Young Boys, let's see. I don't think there's anyone really that people are going to go for. All right, so... what do you think of Pogba as an option? He's a decent option once again, but I think he's vastly overperforming, and I think there's just other players who offer more goal assists and goals and assists, and also ball recovery. So I don't know if he's really that good of an option, in my opinion. Thoughts on De Gea, Jota, and Correa from Atletico? Look, De Gea is a good option. It does take away a spot for United, but he is a good keeper choice. Jota, I like him for the time being, but even then he's got a tough group. And ultimately, looking at the whole group stages, I prefer Depay for a similar price. As for Correa from Atletico, I think his minutes could be limited with Griezmann coming in. But of course, when he does play, he's really good and threatening. Jesse Lingard, what about him? Is he starting? I don't think he is from the lineup I just read out, unless it was wrong. League code. The league code, is it even? No, it's not on the screen. The league code is in the description below. Let me actually read it out to you. So, should I read it out? It's a bit sus, the league code. I don't know why it is, by the way. But it's 50 AN US PK08. So that is the league code. If not, just go to the description, and there's also an auto join link, and you can join the league. Same with everyone else. And by the way, thank you very much to everyone who has joined in. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Really appreciate it. Over 300 people watching. Never seen so many people so interested in UCL Fantasy before. But yeah, this season there seems to be a bit more of a clamour around it. And of course, we are approaching Matchday 1, so the hype is real. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, Dylan_RCM. And yesterday we actually hit 500 followers on Twitter at the same time that we hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. So really appreciate it to everyone. And also, big shout out to Rodrigo Arias for becoming the first channel member. Really appreciate it. And of course to Rock and Roll for the super chats. Much appreciated, of course. You don't have to, but obviously it's a really nice token and I really appreciate it, of course. Let's see. Stecklenburg out. Yeah, I'm just not too sure about him. I probably would prefer the Dortmund keeper, Musso, and all these other options. I just wish we knew if Musso was starting or not, because I do have some second doubts about him. Lineups are out, yeah, they are, and pretty happy with them, to be honest. Is this your final team? At this moment in time, it's how it stands, but I could make a change or two. Best 6 million midfielder apart from Jorginho? Great question. 6 million midfielder. I mean, Let's have a look. Let's refresh, because I'm thinking of a lot of 5.5 and 6.5 million midfielders. So up to 6 million. Let's see. Let's sort it out. Oh, Fred. Good old Fred. Yeah, no, I wouldn't go for him. Okay, so I think Fabinho could be a good one. In terms of ball recovery points, Kovacic is actually really good. He didn't play too much last season, but he's a good option at 5.5. Dahoud as well, 5.5 million. Pessina, I think, isn't he 5.5? If he is, then he's a decent one. He got a few attack and returns at the Euros, but yeah, I mean, that's probably the ones I'd be mentioning. I'm not too fond of these, but of course, ball recoveries makes them a bit more appealing. Will the lineups for Chelsea be revealed? Not before the deadline, unfortunately. Because the deadline is literally now in an hour's time, and yeah, Chelsea play later on. I think they play at 8. Let's check the teams here. So yeah, Chelsea play at 8 o'clock. Yeah, only 2 games right now. Sevilla, Salzburg, Young Boys, Man United to kick off Group A, and that's pretty much how it's going. So yeah, we got the lineups for those games. As far as my team is concerned, pretty happy with that. Wan-Bissaka's playing and all of that. 5 million midfielder, Enemcha is good. Yeah, I've heard people recommend him before, so yeah, that's a good shout. Fernandes or Pogba? I would rather have Fernandes. Bellingham or Rakitic for 7 million? You know what? I mean, I would rather have Rakitic, and then I like Royce from Dortmund for 8 million, if anything. Will Lukaku start? I think he will. Thank you very much, Rock and Roll, for becoming a channel member, the second channel member. I really appreciate it, mate. And of course, yeah, big shout out to you. Same with the super chats. Obviously, you didn't have to, but of course, very nice token from you, mate. Really appreciate it. And good luck with UCL and FPL. De Ligt will start. I think he will, but I'm not too confident about Juventus in general, even in game week 1. And then when you look at Matchday 2 and whenever they face Chelsea, I think Matchday 5 as well, I'm not really feeling it. Gundogan or Bellingham? I prefer Gundogan. What goalkeeper should you choose? I would go for either Mendy and a 4 million goalkeeper, or if not, 2 kind of cheap ones like the Dortmund keeper, Kobel. Atalanta players? Yeah, I mean, I've got Musso, but other than that, I mean, I like Mela. But I don't know. This is the thing with Atalanta. They've got a relatively tough group from their perspective. And yeah, I just think that United make it much more difficult. Do you think En-Nesyri over Lukaku to make a differential is a good option? I wouldn't go for him just for the sake of it, but En-Nesyri's got a good group, and he can save you a lot of money, and he did well last season. Are you going to give us your final team in every UCL round? Yes, I will. Whether it's in the community tab, in a deadline stream, I will be doing that. And of course, today I'm going to have to cut it short probably, unfortunately. But yeah, I will be letting you guys know. Bellingham, Gundogan or Rakitic? I'd go for Gundogan, but I like the other 2 as well. What do you think about Zaidu and Goretzka? Zaidu was really good last season, but he's not a starter anymore. And as for Goretzka, he's very injury prone, so I'm not too sure about him. But of course, they are good options when they play. Will Varane play? He's not starting, mate. It's Maguire and Lindelof, as far as I'm aware. Let me double check, actually, because live score can be a bit of a pain sometimes. Yeah, it's Lindelof and Maguire. Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka as the defence. Fred and Van der Beek in the midfield. Pogba, Fernandes, Sancho and Ronaldo up top with De Gea in goal. So yeah, no Varane. Forza Musiala, I actually like him a lot, and I'm considering getting him and Lukaku in for Jorginho and Ronaldo, but I just don't want to get rid of Ronaldo. You know, he's got young boys in Matchday 1. What about Marcos Llorente? Good player. I think so too. He's got a lot of avenue for points, but then again, look, he's a good player, no doubt about it, but I just don't think he translates the goals and assists from La Liga into UCL Fantasy. James in 2 Premier League games that he has started, he's got 1 goal, 2 assists. Yeah, and once again, I don't think he's a bad option, and I think he's fairly nailed, but in UCL Fantasy, you get points for ball recoveries. That's why I've got Rudiger and Azpilicueta. Ronaldo or Lukaku captain? Really good question. You can't go wrong with either. That's a tough one. I mean, I'd probably say Ronaldo, but then again, you can always go different. Go for Lukaku, who's going to have less ownership. And then if it doesn't work out, you can have maybe Mbappe, Haaland, and Messi, etc. from tomorrow. Yeah, India, once again, I answered your question already. This is my final team for Matchday 1, but I might make a few changes on stream. And if I make any after the deadline stream, I will let you guys know. What are your top 5 choices for midfielders? Ignore the price. Salah, Bruno. I like Sane a lot, actually. If I think he starts, yeah, he could be a good one. So yeah, Salah, Bruno as 2 options. Either Sane or Musiala. And then I'd go for a City midfielder like Torres or Gundogan. You know, one of those sorts of options. And then to complete it, another midfielder. I think Marco Reus at 8 million. Should Pavard start? I think so, but once again, he's also kind of in and out of the team sometimes, especially under Hansi Flick. Not so sure under Julian Nagelsmann, but yeah. Wan-Bissaka starts, yes he does. Best Atletico midfielder for 6 million? Yeah, it would be Marcos Llorente in that case. Best midfielders for 7.58 million? I'd say Royce or Ferran Torres. Which free premium striker should I go with? This is the thing, really tough. I'm going with Haaland, Mbappe, Ronaldo, so obviously I'd recommend them, but Lukaku, Messi are also really good choices, and Lewandowski, of course. But I'd probably look at Lewandowski from Matchday 2 onwards. Best 5.5 million defender or less, Marquinhos, Rudiger, Azpilicueta. Those are kind of the main ones I'd look for. If I had a bit of money left over, I would consider doing Wan-Bissaka to Marquinhos, potentially. Varane benched, yes he was, and he was in my first draft video actually. Forcing Mbappe to Benzema Matchday 2, that's a very good shout, Flying Dutchman, and something I could do myself. Really good shout. Best 7.5 million midfielder, yeah, once again, Ferran Torres probably. Best 5 million midfielder, not really too keen on the 5 million midfielders, probably Wilmar Barrios. Danilo a good midfielder, he is when he starts, but not so sure if he is actually going to play. Diego Carlos versus Acuna. I already talked about this before. Look, I like Acuna. He's got more attacking potential, but Diego Carlos gets more ball recovery points, in my opinion. And also potentially fewer yellow cards. Haaland, Benzema, Ronaldo, what do you think? Exceptional front line. Benzema could be a great differential. Force on Benfica keeper. Look, he's nailed. So obviously he's one of the best 4.5 million options, but the group is very tough. So I'm not too sure about him. Why Musiala so popular? Because he gets so many goals and assists with the minutes he plays. Musiala or Gundogan? I'd probably go for Gundogan, but I like Musiala a lot. Thoughts on Luke Shaw? He is 6 million, this is the thing, and United aren't great defensively, but I think he's got attacking potential and he can get clean sheet. In terms of ball recoveries, I'm not too convinced by him, but still, I think he is a good option. Thoughts on Yannick Carrasco? He's decent, but from Atletico really, Marcos Llorente. And other than that, I'm not really too keen on the other options right now. Why Aspi and Rudiger over James? Because they get ball recovery points and more nailed. Kante not expected to start? No, I don't think so, to be honest. He is an injury doubt. Should I triple up on Sevilla with Acuna, Diego Carlos and Bono? I wouldn't triple up on the defence. Tripling up with En-Nesyri or Lamela, that would make sense. But tripling up on the defence, just go for 2 max. So maybe Bono and either Diego Carlos or Acuna. Ball recoveries seem very important. They are, because for every 3 ball recoveries you make, you get an extra point, and that makes assets like Joe Gomez, for example, last season, he was outscoring Trent Alexander-Arnold, so they are very important in my opinion. Dylan has to be one of the best fantasy-related contents I've seen so far on YouTube. Kindly subscribe and give a thumbs up. Thank you very much for the shout-out, Wei Heng. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. If I haven't, obviously that's my fault, but yeah, really appreciate it, mate. What's the best defender for any price? Great question. I would probably say a Chelsea defender, so Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Reece James. I just think they have everything. They've got a bit of attacking potential, a lot of ball recoveries, and clean sheets. Camavinga, thoughts? Yeah, I think he's a good option at 5.5. He's one to look out for, but I'm probably not going to go for him myself. Kimmich or Trent? Because of the group, I would arguably go for Kimmich. Why none of the 6.5 million defenders? Because I just think that I rather would have double Chelsea defence at 5.5 and 5 million and spread the money elsewhere across my team. That's probably why. Just joined the league. Thank you, Ashraf. Force on Casteels as a first-day goalkeeper. That could be really good. I think Wolfsburg can keep a clean sheet. Contemplating between Lukaku and Mbappe. That's a tough one. For Matchday 1, once again, I think Mbappe will outscore him, but maybe long-term, Lukaku is better. Gundogan or Bellingham? I would say Gundogan, yeah. 4.5 million defender, who should I go for? I like Diego Carlos a lot, but there's always Marcos Acuna as well. But yeah, I like Diego Carlos because of the group as well. Yeah, Rudiger plus Hakimi or Marquinhos and Kimmich? That's tough. I'd probably say Marquinhos and Kimmich as a duo, but I like Rudiger a lot. Replacement for Greenwood? I'm not sure how much money you have in the bank, but Jota is a good one. Why Musa? Is it just because he's cheap as hell? Says Kings. Well, the reason why is because I want 2 rotating goalkeepers. I think that he's got a decent group other than Man United. Unfortunately, that's the big kind of problem. And I think he can get plenty of save points. And of course, look, I would rather have Mendy, but I just don't have enough money. That's the thing. When will you launch your final team? It will be literally on stream, but of course, if I make any kind of changes after the deadline stream, then I'll let you guys know in the community post. But obviously, just a kind of disclaimer for anyone who probably wants to see to copy, you could actually do even better than me with your own choices. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you are doing that specifically. Thoughts on Hakimi? Really good attacking potential. He can get a few clean sheets, but at 6.5 million, I don't know if he really warrants that price, considering he has City and Leipzig in his group. Thoughts on Fred? He can get a few ball recoveries, maybe even an assist, considering how easy the group is, but I'm probably steering clear. Will Reece James start? I think he will. Jorginho will start. So, yep, same thing. I think he will. Jorginho or Fabinho? I prefer Jorginho. Aspi or Rudiger? I prefer Azpilicueta. Luke Shaw, very good player, but once again, I don't know if he gets enough ball recovery points, and if United are that good defensively for me to invest 6 million on a defender. Why not Christensen? Well, as you saw at the weekend, he's not completely nailed on. He can be in and out of the side. I think Azpilicueta and Rudiger, at least for the time being, when Chelsea still have something to play for in terms of qualifying for the next round, I just think that they're going to play the majority of the games. Camavinga, thoughts after the best debut? Yeah, like I said, 5.5 million, great option. I'm on your league, mate. Thank you very much. Danilo or Alvarez? Alvarez because he's more nailed. Why not Kimmich? Because once again, I prefer the Chelsea defenders who are slightly cheaper and I think they have more chance of clean sheets and ball recoveries. Kimmich is obviously great, but I need to obviously find money elsewhere in order to get him. Rudiger or Azpilicueta? Rudiger. Azpilicueta, sorry. He's 5 million. Bellingham or Casemiro? I'd probably go for Casemiro. Best 5.5 defender? Rudiger probably, if not Marquinhos. Kobel or Musso, bro? Give an opinion. I prefer Kobel. I already talked about him. I said I would rather have him than Musso, but I have both of them to kind of rotate. Royce or Jorginho? I'd go for Royce if you have enough money. Musiala can be good for 6.5 exactly, and I'm considering him myself. Force on Dumfries, a lot of attacking potential that he showed in the Euros, but once again, just not too sure about Inter Milan, really. Reece James or Rudiger? I'd rather have Rudiger. Best 5.5 million midfielders? I mean, Camavinga's one of them. Kante when he's fit, but right now he isn't. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the 5.5 million options. But of course, they can get you quite a lot of points. There's also Fabinho, can get a lot of ball recoveries. Josh joined the league. Best content related to FPL. Kindly subscribe and give a thumbs up. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate the thumbs up and also the shout out. Is Camavinga nailed? I don't know about 100% nailed, but I think he will start. Most games at least. Pedri, good option, but not really. Not the best in terms of ball recoveries or attacking potential. Which goalkeepers would you recommend? Mendy for sure, and then Musso, Kobel as well. Definitely look in terms of like my favourites. It'd be Bono, Mendy, and the Dortmund goalkeeper, and I'd put Mendy first. Midfield for Man United after seeing the compo, I'm guessing you're saying the lineup. Yeah, obviously Fernandes is obviously someone I'd want to have, but that would mean getting rid of Salah. Thank you very much, Blessing Betha. Is it best to start people who play first? Exactly. On your bench, have people who play on the final day. So as you can see here, everyone here is playing on the 15th of September on my bench. And during the substitution window, which you can see here, which is after the games on Tuesday and before the Wednesday games, you have plenty of time to change your captain and also to bring on these players on the bench, from the bench, for maybe just anyone who doesn't do too well. It doesn't necessarily have to be a blank. It could be someone with 4 or 5 points, but that's the aim of the game, really. Rodri or Fabinho? I'd probably prefer Fabinho. He's more nailed. Best 6.5 million defender? I'd probably say Kimmich. Suggest to me a 5.5 million midfielder. Thank you very much for the super chat, mate. I would probably say Camavinga or Fabinho out of those options. Yeah, I'd probably go for them too. Thank you very much. Obviously, once again, Jorginho or Valverde? Jorginho for me. Brandt for Dortmund? Yeah, he's a good choice too, but he's also sometimes in and out of the side. I would rather have Royce. Donnarumma or Keylor Navas, bro? I think Donnarumma will start pretty much. Unless PSG do this thing where Donnarumma starts in the league and Navas starts in the Champions League. That could be a possibility, but I think it'll be Donnarumma. Either way, I would probably steer clear from them. Good 8 million midfielder, Marco Reus. Why do you have Gundogan? Ball recoveries, attacking potential, and yeah, I like Gundogan as a UCL fantasy pick. Which keepers would you recommend? Yeah, Mendy, Bono, and Kobel. Force on Benzema, really good differential. I like him a lot, but yeah, I mean, I do prefer the other kind of premiums at this moment in time. But in Matchday 2, I might even move one of my attackers for him. As the Flying Dutchman said, Mbappe to Benzema looks really good in Matchday 2. Why not Ferran Torres? Because I don't have enough money, simply. And also, I'm not too sure if he's going to start every game in the Champions League. Is Musiala going to start? I think he'll come off the bench. Is Musiala nailed? No, but he's going to get plenty of minutes. So if he doesn't start, he'll come off the bench. 9 million midfielder. I mean, at 9 million specifically, I'm not really kind of too happy with the options. Maybe Sane, he's a good one. And then Marco Reus at 8 million. Shaw or Bissaka, I'd probably prefer Wan-Bissaka. I think he can get more ball recovery points. He can maybe match or nearly get to the amount of goal contributions that Shaw does. And of course, I'd say he's even more nailed. Well, that is arguable because Dalot is also in the mix. Rossillion or Moreno, I prefer Moreno. Best 4.5 million defender, Diego Carlos for me. Bruno or Salah? I prefer Salah, honestly. But of course, Bruno is very good and he's got a great group. Is Musiala going to start? I don't think so. I think he'll come off the bench. Pretty sure Kepa starts today in place of Mendy. Yeah, I mean, for 6 million, it would be a bit kind of concerning and a bit frustrating if I got Mendy and he didn't start. Why 5-2-3? Because, once again, just forget about formation. It's literally irrelevant. The reason why I've got 5 defenders is because all of them play on the first day. You don't want to have players who play on the first day on your bench because then you miss out on bringing them on during the substitution window. Should I get Van der Beek for one match day? I probably wouldn't because that's a transfer waiting to happen. Gundogan plus Musiala or Royce plus Camavinga have Haaland? That's a really good question there, Addy. I'd probably go for Gundogan and Musiala. Who instead of Azpilicueta? I just have Azpilicueta, but if you don't want him or you don't think he's going to start, then you can go for Rudiger, you can go for Reece James, maybe Wan-Bissaka himself. Best 5 million midfielder? I mean, let me check my 5 million midfielders, but I'm not really too happy with the options. Probably Wilmar Barrios. Let me check if there's anyone else. Yeah, Danilo Pereira did well last season, but I just don't know if he's going to start most games in the Champions League. Yeah, I think Wilmar Barrios could be good. Gets a lot of ball recovery points. Lukaku, Mbappe. I prefer Mbappe, but I like Lukaku too a lot. Thoughts on Gomez? Really good player. I'm not sure if he's going to get too many attacking returns, but he's such a good player to watch, and he could be the kind of difference maker in the Champions League for Sevilla, even if he doesn't get the kind of points you want. Yeah, 0% ownership is really impressive. Bono or De Gea? I prefer Bono. He's slightly cheaper, also doesn't take away a United spot. CR7 or Ronaldo? CR7 or Lewandowski in the long run? Good question. Maybe CR7 because of the group, but Lewandowski in the Champions League is undeniable. He's been better than Ronaldo in recent years, and probably better than any other striker other than Haaland. Best midfielder, 6 million, have Casemiro, Jorginho, Alvarez. Yeah, I'd be looking at Fabinho, Dahoud. Yeah, the same options really. Camavinga. Obviously, if you can, 6.5 million, I would like Musiala. Llorente too as well. Why have you got Casemiro? He gets a lot of ball recovery points. That's a big part of UCL Fantasy. If you are not sure, check out my UCL Fantasy videos where I break down all the rules and explain why these kind of holding midfielders, centre-backs, etc. are really important. Because obviously, if this was FPL and there was no ball recoveries, I wouldn't have Casemiro. I wouldn't deny that. Ronaldo, Shaw, Pogba in the starting 11. Yep, looking really good. Is Mount good cover for Lukaku? Not in my opinion, because Mount doesn't play every single game and Lukaku is just way more consistent. Force on Weghorst. Yeah, I mean, he's another one that featured in the Euros. A lot of kind of crossovers here. Not really thinking about him too much, but maybe keep an eye on him. I take En-Nesyri as my differential player. That's a good one, actually. Someone I didn't mention in my alternative picks recently, but he is a good one. Ferran Torres or Mount. I prefer Torres, but he is a bit of a kind of rotation risk. Why not Dumfries? Did you see him in the Euros? I did. I had him. He did burn me as well, unfortunately, but I want to target players who can get a lot of ball recovery points and clean sheets, and I don't think Dumfries can do both of them as well as, let's say, Rudiger or Azpilicueta. Lukaku or Benzema? I'd rather have Lukaku. Why Moreno? He's only 4 million and he plays as a left mid in a good Villarreal team. Woo, nice team. Thank you very much. Obviously, there can be improvements and it's impossible to have everyone I want, unfortunately. Casemiro or Musiala? Probably Musiala, but I like Casemiro a lot. He's more reliable and consistent. Why Musa over the Benfica keeper? Let's check the Benfica keeper actually. Obviously, a lot of people have mentioned him today, and with good reason. He is a good option. Yeah, let's go to Benfica. Benfica. Oh no, it's actually just, yeah, it starts with Benfica, yeah. Okay, it's not SL Benfica. So this guy, I mean, look, yeah, 1% ownership, he starts. Dynamo Kiev, he can do really well. But Barcelona and Bayern in the same group, that's what puts me off him. Obviously, Musso, it's not that much better. He's got Man United and Villarreal. But I don't know, I just prefer Musso, honestly. I think he's more likely to get more points. That's just a personal opinion of mine. Give the league code. The league code is in the description below. I think it's 50ANUSPK08. Best 6.5 million midfielder, Musiala or Casemiro. What do you think about Malyanovsky? I would be steering clear from him, to be honest. Obviously, in the Euros, he was decent, but even then, he was a disappointment fantasy-wise. Best defender, 5.5 million. Once again, Rudiger or Marquinhos for me. Why no Arsenal players? Thank you very much for that amazing comment. Very original. Van Dijk, I had him in my first draft, but yeah, the group is really tough, and also I don't have enough money. I'd have to downgrade someone else in order to facilitate that. Why Musso over the Benfica keeper? Yeah, I answered that. Could I go for Jota? You can, and he could be good cover for Salah, and you can always have Bruno instead of Salah, but I would rather have Salah, of course. Lewandowski will play. He definitely will. Opinions on Baku? Obviously, he's a fairly nailed defender, you could say, for Wolfsburg. Obviously, someone to look at, but I'm not going to go for him myself. Would you take Van Dijk? I think he's got a lot of ball recoveries, which is why I was appealed by him in the first place. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd maybe even consider Marquinhos just ahead of him, but I don't know. There's not much in between them. And yeah, potentially. But then again, for $500,000 more, you can get Kimmich or Trent. It could be worth it. Is Royce the best 8 million midfielder? I think so. Brahim Diaz a good option? Yeah, decent option. But once again, I'm not really too kind of convinced by these midfielders and players who he can come in and out. You know, they're not going to be that consistent. Force on Danilo. Good when he plays, but he's not going to start every game in my opinion. Why not Acuna? Diego Carlos is more nailed, gets more ball recovery points, and yeah, gets fewer yellow cards. Barros has an injury symbol. Is he still worth a picking? Yeah, don't get him. I think he is injured actually. I was just mentioning him in terms of the best 5 million options because I look at the rest and I don't like them. But of course, Barrios when he's fit is good. Hi there. Thanks for the suggestions. Malyanovsky or Torres or Casemiro? I'd go for Torres, and if not Casemiro. Obviously, Torres is a bit of a risk. Are you worried about Man United clean sheet with Lindelof starting over Varane? Not necessarily. I think they've got enough to keep a clean sheet against young boys. And he's just 5 million really, Wan-Bissaka. But yeah, let's actually see. I could arguably still go without him. That's the thing. I'm not really too kind of enamoured by United defence, if I'm being completely honest. So let's look at affordable. But then again, I look at the other defenders and I'm not really too convinced. If Zaidu was starting, I'd still get him because he gets a lot of ball recovery points, but he's not starting this season. Hummels, yeah, Akanji, they're good options, but I've already got the goalkeeper, so not too keen on that. Trippier's got a tough group. Mazawi could be a good one. Yeah, but then again, do I see too many clean sheets for Ajax? Not too sure about that. But then again, yeah, he was really impressive last season in the Champions League. I'll give him that. Yeah, Mazawi is a good one. He could come in actually. Laporte at 5 million is actually really impressive, but I just don't know if he's going to start. It could be Stones and Diaz. Obviously, someone earlier said that both Stones and Laporte are injured. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, something to consider. Force and Roussillon is a good option, but I would rather have Moreno or Woba. I think they're just more nailed. Roussillon didn't play at the weekend. Valverde and Wan-Bissaka or Casemiro and Acuna? I'd go for Casemiro and Acuna. Midfielders under 6 million, apart from Jorginho and Llorente, probably Camavinga. Who's better, Gundogan or Wijnaldum? Gundogan for me. How many mini leagues can you join? I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I'm not in too many myself, but I don't think the limit might be similar to FPL, but honestly, I don't know that question. And when I broke down the rules in my how to play guide, they didn't mention how many leagues you can join, I think. What about Chiesa? He's flagged as an injury doubt, and he's too expensive anyway. Juventus are pretty awful. Marcos Alonso will play. I don't know. I think Chilwell could, but then again, I've been saying that in the Premier League and it hasn't happened. Would you risk playing Torres, or is it better for another 7.5 million option? I think Torres is potentially worth the risk if you have enough depth, but then again, you can always just go for a more reliable pick who can get you 3 to 5 points every week. Haaland or CR7 for the captaincy? Just captain Ronaldo today and Haaland tomorrow. Remember, you can change your captains from each day, so If you look at my team, for example, on the 14th of September, I'm going to be captaining Ronaldo as things stand. And if he doesn't do too well, during the substitution window, I can captain a player who plays on the 15th, so tomorrow. And I can captain Mbappe, Salah or Haaland. So just captain Ronaldo, and if not, Haaland. It just makes it much simpler. Best 4 million goalkeeper. I mean, honestly, there's no one that comes to mind. There's not really someone who plays. So just go with any of them, really. And best 4.5 million midfielder, definitely Alvarez. Gutierrez from Madrid defense is a 4 million. Fair enough. Yeah, I remember you mentioned him before. Any good 4.5 million mids? Yeah, Alvarez. Do I sub out Lingard? Yeah, definitely. I would definitely get rid of him. Best formation? There's no really such thing. And once again, I'm only playing 5 because all my players are playing today. But yeah, just don't worry about it too much. Van der Beek or Fred? For Matchday 1, I would rather have Van der Beek, but even then, I just think it's a transfer waiting to happen. I'd avoid. Royce or Gundogan? Probably Royce if you can afford it. Why not Valverde instead of Casemiro? I think Casemiro gets even more ball recovery points, and he's just more nailed in general. Any Man City nailed centre-backs? Diaz. Literally, that's it. And from City defence, Walker, Cancelo and Diaz. Those are the ones I'd recommend. Final team, on screen, is pretty much my final team, but I might make a late change or two. But I'm not too sure. I just don't want to keep chopping and changing. And what I might do in the end is actually make a few transfers. Yeah, I might even wildcard or limitless in Game Week 2 or Matchday 2. But I don't know, I would probably want to save my wildcard, potentially up until the knockouts. But yeah, I think I might just go with this instead. Obviously, I would love to have Bruno Fernandes, but I also don't want to go without Salah. I don't want to go without Ronaldo. I also don't want to go without Lukaku and Messi, but you just can't have everyone, to be honest. Bellingham or Gundogan? Best 4.5 million midfielder apart from Alvarez? No one really that comes to my mind, so I just stick with Alvarez. Left back for PSG, it's either Diallo or Nuno Mendes, but I'm not sure what Pochettino's going to do. We haven't seen enough yet to kind of know what he's going to do with those left backs. Do subs get you points? No. So the reason why I've got a really strong bench is because they can come on if my lineup doesn't do really well in the 14th of September. But yeah, your substitutes do not get points. Of course, those you bring on, so let's say Gundogan, Casemiro and Alvarez are in my team in the end, and also the goalkeeper, their points will count. But anyone who's on your bench by the end of the week, their points do not count. Luke Shaw or Wan-Bissaka? I'd rather go for Wan-Bissaka because of the extra million. Mbappe or Neymar? Mbappe for me. Llorente or Casemiro? Casemiro for me. Best 6.5 million midfielder? Musiala or Casemiro? As a Croatian, I have to pick 5.5 million. Kovacic could be a good differential, good recent performances. Yeah, true. And he gets a lot of ball recovery points anyway, so that's a good shout. Yo, mate, how's it going? Going differential here. Everton, Donny van der Beek, and Dodo, the main ones. Gonna limitless in Game Week 2, wildcard Game Week 3. That's a plan. Obviously, just kind of consider an alternative to maybe wildcard later on, but that looks really good. And of course, some very good differentials in there. They could do extremely well. Good luck with that. Force on Baku, I talked about him before. He's fairly nailed. Wolfsburg are actually pretty decent. I think they deserve more credit. They could even qualify. But I don't know. I just prefer different teams, if I'm honest, especially defensively. Suggestions for 4 million defender. Moreno on screen, as you can see. Woba. And also, as pointed out by a viewer earlier, Gutierrez from Real Madrid. But obviously, I haven't checked him out myself. Best midfielder under 8 million. I already have Torres, Musiala, Casemiro, Gundogan. I'd probably look at those sorts of options. If Ronaldo scores 1 goal, who would you switch the captain to for tomorrow? Well, it'd be between Salah, Mbappe and Haaland, and I'd probably go for Haaland at this moment in time, but I am very tempted by Mbappe, which I talked about in my team selection video. Thoughts on Mount? Decent option, but I would just rather have double Chelsea defence, whether it's Mendy and a defender, or 2 defenders, and Lukaku up front, rather than Mount. Which Man U midfielder do I choose? Bruno Fernandes if you can, really. I'm not really a big fan of the rest. Lewandowski or Mbappe? Mbappe for Matchday 1. Lewandowski maybe for the whole group stages. Best 6 million midfielder? Jorginho, in my opinion, is one of the best. If not, there's Camavinga, Fabinho. Is Barella a good option? I think so, actually. And he can get ball recoveries. He gets a bit of attacking potential. Not too much, mind you. But he's decent. Messi or Ronaldo? Tough one. I mean, maybe Ronaldo because he's got an easier group and Mbappe could outscore Messi and you can always go for Mbappe instead. Valverde or Llorente? I prefer Llorente. Messi or Ronaldo? Ronaldo, but in real life Messi. Bruno over Salah? Potentially. He's got better fixtures and he's slightly less owned, so that's a good choice. Why don't you have Messi? Because I've got Mbappe and I think he's going to outscore him potentially. He's going to be the main focal point. Of course, they're both great options. I'd love to have both of them, but I'm just going for Mbappe. Bruno or Salah? I'm going for Salah. I think he's a better player, but Bruno has the better fixtures. Rudiger played all matches. He might be benched. Well, yeah, but he's fairly nailed. That's the reason why he plays all the games, and there's no reason to spam the chat, mate. Why not Lukaku? Because I can't have more than 3 strikers, really. I mean, do I drop Ronaldo, Mbappe, or Haaland for him? It's a really tough one. Is Jota good for Matchday 1? He is. I think he can do really well, but then again, I would rather have others, whether it's a premium striker or Depay going forward. Obviously not in Matchday 1, but he is a good choice. What do you think about Bellingham? Good option, but I think other players offer you more ball recoveries and attacking potential. Double Chelsea defence over 1 Chelsea and 1 PSG defender? Yeah, I would probably prefer double Chelsea defence. Welcome FPL book. Lukaku over Lewandowski or Mbappe? Probably over Lewandowski for now. Hakimi or Trent? I'd go for Trent. Is Tete a good option? I think so, but I think there are better ones. That's my opinion. Is Wan-Bissaka, Davis and Hakimi a good defence? I think so, but once again, like I pointed out to someone earlier, I think you could find better value elsewhere than Davis and Hakimi. Will there be a live stream tomorrow before the UCL games? No, this is the only live stream. It always happens on the Tuesday, 1 hour before the deadline pretty much. So yeah, there's not going to be another one. I don't think enough people will be interested anyway to tune in because we all kind of know what we're going to do with our, captaincy and substitutions. And I pretty much say it here and also in my videos. So yeah, I don't think there is a need. Pavard or Meunier? I'd probably go for Pavard out of those two, and I'd rather have Hummels or Akanji. Pogba playing left wing though, yeah, and he's a good option. I just prefer others. Thoughts on Donny? I think he's a transfer waiting to happen. Jota or Dybala? Probably Jota. Suso or Jorginho Casemiro? Suso's actually a nice choice, but I'd probably go for Jorginho or Casemiro. Musiala, Jorginho, Gundogan, a good midfield choice? Yep, definitely. I like all 3 of them. Why Casemiro? Ball recoveries. Reece James, good choice. I think he's going to start, but I prefer Rudiger and Azpilicueta. Who's better, Gundogan or Torres? I think Gundogan's more nailed, but Torres, when he starts, has got more attacking potential. Pavard or Meunier? Yeah, Pavard. Lukaku, Ronaldo? Probably Ronaldo for Matchday 1. Is Melo a good option? I think so. But 5 million for an Atalanta defender? Not too sure. I've gone for Musa because he's 4.5 in goal. Reece James or Rudiger? I'd go for Rudiger. Trippier, a good option? Yes, but I think there are better elsewhere. Reece James will start, yes. Any replacements for Davis? You can always go for Trent, but if not, just go for some Chelsea defenders like Azpilicueta, Reece James or Rudiger. There's Wan-Bissaka, there's Diego Carlos, Marcos Acuna, Moreno as a really cheap defender. Even one of the City ones, so Walker, Cancelo or Diaz. Who's better, Gundogan or Torres? Yeah, probably Gundogan, but not much in it. Fabinho or Rodri? Fabinho for me. Laporte, I like Laporte, but I don't know if he's going to start every game. It could be Stones. Don't copy the man's team. You all got this. Believe in your team. I completely agree. Blessing Betha. Really good comment there. Vinicius or Depay? I prefer Depay, honestly. Christensen or Thiago Silva? Honestly, I would just rather have Rudiger or Azpilicueta than them two, because those two are examples of players who could come in and out of the side more regularly. Curtis Jones, worth it? I think there's better choices elsewhere. Sevilla goalkeeper, a good option? Yes. I think Mendy, Bono and Kobel are my top 3 picks for goalkeepers in terms of value. Bellingham with an easy fixture or Gundogan who can be rotated? I mean, it's up to you. I prefer Gundogan. Chelsea attacker other than Lukaku? Maybe Havertz or Mount, but I prefer Lukaku. Yeah, I answered your question about the best 4.5 million midfielder other than Alvarez, and there's literally no one that comes to mind in my opinion. Of course, if there is anyone, then I invite others to also let you know in the chat, but I'm not going to, I'd say force an answer out myself because I literally don't believe in the other options. That's just my opinion. Of course, there could be someone, but I just haven't taken a look. There's so many players available. There's so many choices. Hey man, hope you're doing well. Good to be back. Thank you, Diggle, and obviously, yeah, really good to have you back on board. Sevilla Fernando, he can get a lot of ball recoveries, but he's also a bit of a nutcase, really. He gets a lot of yellow cards and reds, but yeah, he's decent. Carlos or Delict at the back? Diego Carlos for me. What about Correa? Good option, but just like Joaquin Correa, Angel Correa is also a bit of a kind of, I'd say, rotation risk. His minutes will be, well, he just won't be starting as much as he was before. Valverde or Camavinga? I prefer Camavinga, but both are good. Carlos or Acuna? Carlos for me. 4.5 million defender except Carlos. There is Acuna if you want, and if not, I mean, I would have said Zaidu, but unfortunately he's gone. Bye-bye. Finito. He's not playing, which is a big shame, to be honest. Let's check the other 4.5 million defenders. Not really a big fan of the others, I think. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, nah. Maybe Mazawi, actually. Yeah, he's 4.5 million. I thought he'd be higher this season. He's a good one, but other than that, yeah, I wouldn't be kind of advocating for the others too much. Maybe add Moss or two. Mids under 5 million, probably Alvarez. He's the only one. Kovacic thoughts. He can get a lot of ball recoveries, but don't just get him because he did really well in Game Week 4. He's not always going to be that good offensively and in terms of assists, but he gets a lot of ball recovery, so he's a good choice. Is this your final team? At this moment in time, this is how my team is looking like, but I might make some changes before the deadline. I'm going to be cutting short very soon because I have other commitments, unfortunately, so apologies to everyone, but yeah, I'm not able to stream up until the deadline, and if I make any changes, I'll post it. I'll post my final team on the community tab when I'm able to, but yeah, just kind of good advice for everyone, I think. Definitely don't just copy my team, I think you can do even better. If you go with your own picks, I mean, yeah, why limit yourself to what I can do? Ronaldo or Lukaku? Ronaldo, but there's not much in it. Trent, Hakimi or Kimmich? I'd say Kimmich, but I like Trent a lot. Why Diego Carlos or Acuna? Ball recoveries. Bruno or Ronaldo? Ronaldo. You're sleeping on Sporting, potentially, but I can't have everyone, mate. But maybe you're right about Sporting. Alisson or Mendy? Yeah, Mendy for me. Goalkeeper under 4.5 million. I mean, there's not really anyone. Otherwise, I'd probably have a 4 million keeper. Yeah, for me, at 4.5, the Dortmund keeper is a standout, but under 4.5, not sure. Thoughts on Pogba? He's playing left wing. He's obviously nailed. He can get assists, a few ball recoveries, but I think there are better choices at 8.5. Wan-Bissaka or Diego Carlos? I prefer Diego Carlos in terms of value for money. What do you think about Cuadrado? I just don't really like his price and his position this year, so I'd probably stay clear. And I don't like Juventus. Salah or Fernandes? I prefer Salah. When is your Game Week 5 live stream? I made one yesterday, mate, for reaction stream, but my deadline stream will be on the Friday, most likely. Danilo or Rodri? Maybe Danilo, but I'm just not too sure if he's going to start most games. Is it a bad idea to have budget left over? Not really, because it gives you more flexibility in future game weeks. Best 8.5 million midfielder, Liverpool win. I think Liverpool will win, definitely. As for best 8.5 million mid, not too sure. I mean, obviously a lot of people will say Pogba, that's fair enough. I like Sane at 9 million, but of course that doesn't answer your question. I'd say Royce at 8 million. At 8.5 specifically, not too sure. I'd probably just go for Royce. Is Mendy a good choice? I think he is, but just bear in mind that later on, if Chelsea already qualify, he could be rotated for Kepa. Mendy and Kobel, good choice of goalkeepers, definitely. I like those choices a lot. Of course, it's very expensive to have a 6 million and a 4.5, but still, it looks good. Lukaku or Mbappe, I would say, yeah, Mbappe for Matchday 1. Beyond that, Lukaku potentially. Friday, what time? Probably 7 p.m. I always put a poll out and let you guys know or ask you, and it tends to be around 7 p.m. where people want it. But yeah, if not, I could do a deadline stream on the Saturday pretty much. This is for Saturday deadlines, by the way. I think the deadline might be Friday this time around, but yeah, I have to double check that. Musso or Sportiello? I think Musso, but of course, Sportiello did start the weekend because Musso came back late. Any idea how you'll play your chips? Probably my Limitless in Matchday 2, 5 or 6, and my wildcard either in Matchday 3 or potentially saving it for the knockout stages. Why do you have Musso? Because was the number 1 goalkeeper and he should still be. And it also just allows me to rotate. So if he doesn't blank, if he blanks, should I say, I can bring on the Dortmund goalkeeper in his place. Get Carvalho for Aspi, he's the same price. Yeah, but Azpilicueta plays in a better team, better defence, and gets more ball recovery points. Musiala or Jorginho, I like both of them. Musiala will get more attack and returns, but Jorginho has ball recoveries. And he's more nailed probably. I'd say Jorginho, but I like Musiala too. Will Kante play? I don't think so. Gundogan may be benched, potentially, but once again, he's one of the more nailed City attackers. Depay or Vinicius? Depay. What do you think about Bellingham? Him or Royce? I prefer Royce. You're very good at this, bro. Appreciate the help. Thank you a lot, Andrew. Of course, it's really tough to go through all the questions today. There's so many questions. Appreciate it all. Is Kovacic worth it? Definitely. He's definitely worth it, but there might be better options elsewhere, potentially. Depay or Vinicius, I answered your question, mate. No need to spam the chat. Pedri or Musiala? I prefer Musiala. Rodri or Camavinga? Camavinga. Thoughts on Royce? Probably the best 8 million midfielder in the game, and I expect him to outscore what he did last season. Good defender for tomorrow? Good question. I would probably... Let me actually look at the lineup. I've got no one from tomorrow, actually. I'd say Akanji or Hummels is really good. Maybe one of the Liverpool defenders, whether it's Van Dijk, Trent, or Matip, potentially. There's also Robertson, who's also really good in UCL Fantasy. Yeah, other than that... Yeah, Hakimi for Matchday 1 is really good. And Mazzauri could be good. Cancelo or Diaz or Walker. So those are the sorts of names I'd be throwing out there. Even a Shakhtar defender against Sheriff is one to look out for, but not someone I'd probably go for myself because I'm trying to look more long-term if possible. Is Salah really important to fit in, Dylan? Great stream and it's clear per usual. He's not essential because the group is tough and there is Bruno Fernandes and you can always kind of spread the funds elsewhere, but I like Salah a lot and he's still one of the best assets no matter how tough the group is. Alonso, Meunier or Hummels? Probably Hummels, and if you want a Chelsea defender, go for Azpilicueta or Rudiger. Ferran or Gundogan? I prefer Gundogan, but I like Ferran a lot. Are you taking Aaron Wan-Bissaka or keeping? I'm probably keeping him, but of course I'm going to be finalising my team very soon and letting you guys know. Who goes in Aaron Wan-Bissaka's spot? Well, at this moment in time, I'm not sure. I'm not really too confident about the other 5 million options. There could be Mazzauri coming in, but I'm not too sure about Ajax defensively. Grealish or Ferran? I prefer Ferran. Hummels or Acuna? Hummels. Good 5 million defenders. Azpilicueta for sure. Hummels, Akanji, Christensen. What do you think about Herrera and PSG? Obviously, don't get carried away because he scored a few goals at the weekend. That's what I would say. But he's a decent choice, but not someone I'd go for. Bono or De Gea? Bono for me. Is Mourinho a good option? Yes, but I think Moreno and other 4 million options are better. Potentially Woba too. Having Diego Carlos and Acuna both advisable? I think yeah, but don't triple up on Sevilla defence in my opinion, but it could be advisable. I would rather have Bono and one of them, but still, yeah, they're two good choices, of course. Will Azpilicueta play? I think so. He's the captain and he's obviously very important to Chelsea. Is Kante playing tomorrow? I don't think so. Bono or Mendy? Great question. I'd probably say Bono in terms of value for money and then have two Chelsea defenders. Hakimi or Kimmich? For Matchday 1, Hakimi. Overall, Kimmich is my preferred choice. Royce or Pogba? Royce for me. Lamar or Llorente? Probably Llorente. Oblak or ter Stegen? Neither of them, to be honest. I'd just go for someone else. Either Mendy or maybe a cheaper keeper like Bono. De Gea or Bono? Bono for me. What do you think about Marcos Llorente? Really good choice. Got a lot of avenue for points, but to be honest, yeah, I mean, looking at it kind of objectively, I don't know if he's going to get as many goals and assists as he does in La Liga. And even in terms of ball recovery, he's not the greatest. Kovacic or Camavinga? Maybe Kovacic, but I like Camavinga a lot, really, to be honest. Any 4 million budget keepers? No, not really, to be honest. Not that I'm aware of. If there is one, obviously let us know in the group chat. Barca 20, Bayern nil. I very much doubt that. Captain Shaw trusting to Haaland. What do you think? Yeah, that's good, to be fair. Are you locked in? Almost. But I'm probably going to be ending the stream very soon and then locking in my team. And then, yeah, just moving on from there. Fabinho or Llorente? Maybe Llorente, but not much in it. Musiala or Suso? Musiala. Some of these questions I've already answered before. So, yeah, Mbappe or Lukaku? Mbappe for Matchday 1. But beyond that, maybe Lukaku is the better choice across the whole group stages. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thanks for doing the stream, says Kat. Really appreciate it. And I was actually literally just about to end it, but really appreciate the super chat. And hopefully you got everything you wanted. And yeah, really appreciate everyone who's joined in. It's been crazy how many people have been here. 8 million midfielder not from United, BVB or Chelsea? Good question. I'd probably look at City, so Gundogan or Ferran Torres. Yeah, one of those options. People keep on forgetting that switching players are going to be really hard to be confident that your team can do well. Otherwise, things can go sideways. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people do come new to the game and they don't know about the substitutions and stuff and changing captains. That's why I always try to make it clear in all my videos. Is Mendy going to play? I think so, but maybe going into the future he won't in some of the kind of games when Chelsea have already qualified. Thank you, Aiden. Yo, Kimmich, Hakimi, Carlos, Trent and Van Dijk, good? Yeah, really good, but maybe you don't have too much money invested in your midfield or attack. Mendy won't play, he's jailed. Okay. Walker or Wan-Bissaka? I think Walker will outscore Wan-Bissaka, but is he worth that extra money? Maybe he is. I'd say Walker, if you can. Will Valverde play? I think so. Rosillion or Moreno? Moreno for me. Kovacic, really good option, can get a lot of ball recoveries. Not always going to get too many attack and returns, but yeah. Thank you for the amazing stream, Dylan. Good luck, everyone, and enjoy UCL. Thank you, Abdullah. Good luck to everyone, like he said. And once again, if you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. I'm going to be locking in my team any minute now, and I'll let you guys know. Yeah, I definitely have to think about it. I mean, I'm not even sure. Do I want to overthink it? I'm pretty happy with my team. Of course, there's no such thing as a perfect squad. And I'm going without some really important and key players that I would love to have, but you can't have everyone. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, Dylan_RCM. Once again, thank you so much to everyone who obviously engaged in the chat, who liked the video, who subscribed, also sent in the super chats, became a channel member, rock and roll, and also Rodrigo Arias. Thank you so much, and also for reaching or helping me reach 5,000 subscribers and also 500 followers on Twitter. So really appreciate it. I'll try to go through some last questions before wrapping up. I've got to go somewhere, unfortunately. So yeah, I might not even be able to lock in my team or make changes. Best of luck, everyone. Exactly. Who's your captain? My captain is Ronaldo as things stand, and tomorrow will be Haaland or Mbappe probably. But I also have Salah. Pogba or Havertz? I like both of them. Not too much, but I do like them. I'd probably say Havertz. Hummels or Acuna? I'd say Hummels. Thank you very much, Aiden. This Tanglu is the 4 million goalkeeper who will play. I'll have a look at that, so that's a really good shout. Thank you very much for that. Maguire or Shaw Bissaka? I'd go for Wan-Bissaka, or if not Shaw, but I'd say Wan-Bissaka because he's $1 million cheaper and gives you more money elsewhere. Trent and Hakimi, yeah, both good options. Hakimi or Kimmich? I'd go for Kimmich. Like, if you're looking for the whole group stages, Kimmich is better. Matchday 1 specifically, Hakimi will outscore him. So yeah, can I switch to Lukaku as captain if Ronaldo fails? Yes, you can. Wait, no, you can't. No, you can't. It has to be someone who hasn't played yet. So someone playing on the 15th of September, so tomorrow. So that won't be Lukaku. Zaidu is underrated. But yeah, but the thing is, he's not playing nowadays, so I'm not sure if he's even going to start. Messi or Mbappe? Messi, obviously, is the best player in the world, but Mbappe might be the better option in UCL Fantasy. Thanks a lot, Dylan. I don't know if you remember me, but tuning in from the start, all the best this game week. I do remember you, Dr. Swan, from even 2 seasons ago, so really appreciate it, and good luck to everyone. Carlos or Acuna? Carlos for me, but back your gut, of course. Yeah, my team is close to being locked in, yeah, and I will let you guys know, of course. I haven't made any changes since I've gone to this screen, but thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Like I said before, so much growth over the last month. If I were able to, I'd still be streaming all the way until the deadline and even beyond that, which is what I typically do. But unfortunately, I have to go. But yeah, good luck to everyone in UCL Fantasy. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the games. Don't stress too much. And remember to change your captains and your team. Have people on your bench who are playing on the final day. And if you're unsure about anything, watch my videos quickly where I break everything down and you will become a better UCL manager for it. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.